We've been up fishing Lake of the Woods in Red Lake for the last 7-8 days, and I wanted to go over the rods and reels that I use up here, and in fact pretty much anywhere I go walleye fishing. First one obviously is going to be your jig rod. For a jig rod, I look for a reel, specifically a fast taper rod, meaning that just the very end of it bends, super strong backbone, very sensitive. So I can feel the bites with that sensitivity, the ticks, the mushiness, whatever. I can set the hook with the hard backbone, but then I got a flexible tip to fight that fish in. I run a 10-pound fire line on here as my main line. I run a little tiny swivel, and then I run about a 2-foot fluorocarbon leader. So that's the setup for jigging. The other rod, which I just love to use out here, is a dead rod, a dead stick. So basically a rod that you put in a rod holder, maybe put it out in a hot box. It's a rod that you might not be able to set the hook right away. And for that, the dead stick has a specific action in that it's got a very, very flexible tip on it. All right, and that flexible tip allows a fish to bite and start pulling down and not really feel a lot of resistance. Gives you time to get to the rod, and then when you set the hook, this rod actually has a super strong backbone so that you can drive the hooks into a bony fish's mouth. So a completely different setup, but again, it's for the dead rod situation. I do still use 10-pound fire line on my reel. I do go down to 8-pound test fluorocarbon for my leader, just because it's a little bit more finessey technique. The one thing I wanted to show you on a reel, and maybe we'll take a close-up of this, but the reels I like are small, but the thing is that they got a little lever on the handle to fold it over, so that when you've got to put it away in your rod bag and get it into your shelter, this thing gets out of the way and you're ready to go. So these aren't the only rods I use, but probably for 70% of all I do, a good jigging rod and a good dead rod is going to help you catch a lot of walleyes.